Off the western edge of Japan, just a few dozen meters underwater, lies a stone structure with giant terraces and almost perfect right angles. It looks like a city. But no one can say with certainty who, or what, created it. In this video, we dive to the seafloor and examine one of the most controversial underwater mysteries in the world. In 1986, Japanese diver Kihachiro Aratake was searching for new routes off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan's westernmost island, almost at the border with Taiwan. About 25 meters down, he came upon what first seemed like ordinary rock. But the closer he swam, the stranger the scene became. Before him rose a massive stone formation with wide terraces, sharp edges, and almost geometrically perfect angles. It did not look like a chaotic reef. It looked like the steps of a giant structure. The site would later be called the Yonaguni Monument. The main formation stretches about 150 meters in length and rises nearly 27 meters from its base. Around it are other similar shapes, flat platforms, narrow passages, and what some take for walls and roads. Word of the discovery spread quickly among divers. Some saw a wonder of nature. Others saw a sunken city. Since then, Yonaguni has become one of the most controversial underwater sites on the planet. To understand why, we first have to look carefully at what actually lies on the seafloor. The main formation at Yonaguni is often compared to a pyramid. In reality, it is a massive stepped mass of sandstone. Wide terraces drop in stages. The edges meet at right angles. The surfaces look so even, they seem leveled by hand. Nearby, divers describe other shapes as well. Two tall stone pillars stand almost side by side. They are called the twin monoliths. There is a broad flat platform that supporters of a man-made origin call a stadium. There is a narrow channel that looks like a road, and a hollow that some compare to a pool. One important fact often gets lost behind the striking images: this pyramid is not made of stacked blocks. It is a single mass of bedrock. No separate stone slabs have been found, that someone carried in and placed on top of one another. The rock is layered sandstone and mudstone, about 20 million years old. It fractures along natural plains. Similar stepped forms also exist on land, on Yonaguni Island itself. But it is the concentration of straight lines, steps, and platforms in a small underwater area that creates the feeling of architecture. Diving here is not easy. The powerful Kuroshio current runs past the island, visibility is often poor, and the sharp stone edges are dangerous. That is why the site is still less thoroughly studied than the photographs suggest. It is this strange regularity that led some researchers to ask a question that still divides them: could humans have shaped this stone while it still stood on dry land? The best-known defender of a man-made Yonaguni is Japanese marine geologist Masaaki Kimura. For decades he dived the site, filmed it, measured it, and mapped it. After his first dives, he changed his mind: this was not just a rock. Underwater, as he described it, the terraces drop in stages like a giant staircase. On the flat surfaces he saw what he took for quarry marks. In one place stand two tall supports that look like a gateway. Nearby is a wide, even platform he called a stadium. Farther on, a narrow channel runs like a cut corridor or a road along the base. Kimura claimed he could make out reliefs in the stone, the outline of a face, animal figures, even marks that resembled writing. To him these were not random scratches, but traces of a culture that may have come from mainland Asia. If people carved this complex on dry land, the timing is severe. About 10 to 12,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, sea levels were much lower, and this area could have been a coastline. Yonaguni would then be older than the Egyptian pyramids and almost as old as Göbekli Tepe. Later Kimura shifted his dates. First he spoke of about 10,000 years, then of 2 to 3,000 years BCE. He linked the site to the Jaman culture and to later traditions. Writers who favor lost civilizations quickly compared it to Atlantis and the legendary continent of Mu. The problem remains the same. No pottery, tools, hearths, or burials have been found on the seafloor. There are no tool marks that most archaeologists accept. Japanese government agencies have never recognized the site as a cultural monument. And yet the divers' accounts do not let go. If this is not a city, why do steps, gates, and streets keep appearing underwater? According to most geologists, the answer is not in the history of civilizations. It is in the stone itself. Most geologists see Yonaguni not as a temple, but as rock that breaks according to rules. The stone is sandstone and mudstone of the Yaima group, laid down about 20 million years ago. These layers have clear horizontal bedding planes. They are crossed by vertical joints. In a seismically active region, where earthquakes are common, the rock splits into regular blocks and produces right angles. American geologist Robert Schoch dived here in 1997. He concluded that the main steps and walls are natural terraces and collapsed platforms. He saw similar forms on the island's coast, above the water. The pits, that some take for post holes, he argued, are scoured by currents and marine organisms. In 2019, Japanese researchers led by Takayuki Ogata compared the underwater relief with coastal geosites on Yonaguni. Their conclusion: the monument looks like a building, but it is weathering and erosion along joints. The same process is still happening on the island's south coast. The critical point is simple. The formation is carved from living bedrock. There are no transported blocks, no mortar, and no construction debris. When people build a city, they almost always leave something behind. That layer is missing here. Nature can be astonishingly regular. That does not erase the question of why so many architectural details appear in one place. But for science, it is not enough to declare the seafloor a lost city. Yonaguni remains at the center of the debate, not because there is too much evidence. It is because there is strangely little, on both sides. It is hard to excavate underwater. Currents strip away sediment, visibility can change in minutes, and the site is solid bedrock, not a settlement layer you can open with a shovel. So there is neither a sensational find that would prove a city, nor a survey complete enough to erase Kimura's theory forever. In 2024, Japanese geologists presented new observations. Using multi-beam sonar, underwater robots, and dives, they recorded the stone breaking apart right now. Layers detaching, surfaces wearing down, potholes of different shapes forming. Once again, they found no archaeological remains. What looks like ruins is still being created by erosion. The human eye looks for order. The brain easily reads steps and faces in cracks. That is pareidolia. Nature produces similar geometric forms elsewhere, from Yonaguni's own coastal cliffs to basalt columns around the world. On the other side, at the end of the Ice Age, these stones could indeed have stood on dry land. Jaman people already lived on the Japanese islands. But they could have been nearby is not the same as they carved a city. The Japanese state does not protect the site as a cultural monument. Most geologists consider it natural. And yet divers still come up with the same feeling: it looks too regular. So the mystery of Yonaguni is not only about stone. It is about the line between science and the wish to see a lost world on the seafloor. That is why, after 40 years of argument, the question remains open, and leads us to a wider conclusion. Yonaguni does not give us a lost city. It also does not give us a final verdict from nature. It gives us a lesson in caution. We want the seafloor to keep a secret. Right angles and steps easily become a temple, especially when science has not yet closed every gap in the evidence. But a striking picture is not proof. For now, the strongest data point to stone, fractures, earthquakes, and erosion. That is not a dull answer. It is a reminder of how inventive nature can be, and how quickly the human mind writes a story where none exists. Perhaps new surveys, or a find on the seabed, will one day shift the balance. That has not happened yet. The honest conclusion is modest: we see a structure that looks like a city. We do not see a city. And there is a strange power in that. The closer we look at the past, the clearer it becomes: not everything that seems designed by human hands was designed that way. Sometimes history is not cut with a chisel. Sometimes it is written by water, time, and stone. If this journey to Yonaguni was interesting, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next films. In the comments, tell us which mystery of the past you want us to explore in more detail. In the next video, we will look at Atlantis, Mu, and other lost continents. Myth, reality, or something in between. See you in the next one.